2015. We had basically got through with putting on the first day of the symposium. We went on out to the campsite, and you know, everybody was visiting, and somebody asked, you know, we're going to do any night hikes. So I thought, well, this is a good chance. We know by going up into the valley on several four-wheelers and then coming back out right about dark tends to get them to come out and check out what we're doing. So the plan was the listening post team was going to go up and sit pretty much right there by the river crossing, and I'd give them 10 minutes to go out there, and then I'd zoom through there on my four-wheeler and ignore the fact that they were there and going up into the valley. And my plan was to go up to at least the first river crossing and, you know, maybe to the second river crossing, about a distance of a mile into the valley there. And so I'm zooming along. I wanted to get to the other end so I could make enough noise. And I come around one of the S-curves there on the trail. And right in front of me, about 50 to 75 feet, I mean, I'm not real sure about the distance because it happened so fast, but there was a reddish-brown Bigfoot in the lead with a black one behind it, and on their shoulders was a calf. And the calf wasn't alive. I mean, it wasn't moving. I see that, I start to slow down, and all of a sudden the back of my four-wheeler goes up. It comes up and to the right, and it almost puts me over my handlebars. And so I look back, and all I see is basically the shoulder, a big black shoulder there, and all of a sudden it lets my four-wheeler down. And of course my tires are still going, and I tear through the woods and make a turn, and I get the heck out of there. I got back to where the listening post was, and part of the listening post had headed on back because we had some partiers appear over on the other side of the gravel bar. And the guys that were there, I quickly told them what happened after I caught my breath. And we started looking at the back of the four-wheeler where we figured it had grabbed it. It had actually warped the back fender here on the four-wheeler where it picked it up, and actually looked like it had left fingerprints. Well, it was nighttime, so you know we couldn't really see too well. So we went ahead and we took it back to camp. After I told everybody, you know, what had happened and calmed down, Compressor Mike said, you know, we need to go back down there and see if we can find any tracks. So I was a little gun shy about it and said no at first, but then after I calmed down I said, okay, let's go, Mike. We got down there where this happened, and apparently they took a small tree and threw it across the trail right there where it happened, basically saying, you know, don't come after us apparently. So we looked around for tracks, and of course it was hard packed dirt, so there wasn't any tracks. Didn't see no blood from the calf. So we turned around and come on back. Well, this morning on the 4th, we come in for the symposium, and a bunch of you guys in the group, and the BFRO guys that was here, come out to look at the bumper, and they found that the welds are broke here where it picked it up at. Of course, it's also got quite a few bends there where it jerked it up. So basically to that extent, you know, it picked up the four-wheeler with me on it. We're talking probably 1,000 pounds right there. And that's about all I can say.
Me and Bill wanted to talk a little bit about, we were there whenever DW comes screaming back up. This four-wheeler...
Screaming as in the four-wheeler screaming up, not me screaming.
This whole four-wheeler was just smoking where he was riding it way too hard, hitting the water faster than what he should be doing. We can see the bumper. This is a brand new four-wheel, and you can see where the weld is broke. And the first thing out of DW's mouth was, "Where's the bear spray?" He was. I don't know if you were ready to go back after him, or
I was more worried about them being behind me. I didn't know. We usually carry bear spray in the front of this thing. But Izzy, when he went on the night hike, he took the bear spray with him. So I didn't have nothing out there to protect myself with. And when I pulled up there and seen just a few of y'all, I was like kind of confused. You know, where's everybody at?
Yeah.
And then after I caught my breath and we all started conversing, then y'all told me that the rest of us started walking back because we had some guys over there getting.
and me and you were just on that trail the night before.
Yeah, and that one tree that's across the trail now wasn't there when you and me went there
Right.
last night or the night before.
And maybe Bill, you can talk a little bit about.
Well, you know, it went from thinking that the night was over with because we had those partiers and stuff, and we was kind of sitting there, and I think Ron Ball says it's contaminated. We won't be able to get anything. But we heard you running hot. And I said, well, here you come. When you come in, all I can see in your eyes, and you say bear spray. Well, the first thing I thought was a bear trying to jump out at you. And then when you started explaining to me, one thing that concerned me was, okay, he's maybe going to shock. Now, I know I kept telling you, take deep breaths and you'll feel better. But I think like we was all comparing notes, seeing a veteran, you know, Bigfooter out there getting shook up that much. I got everybody else's adrenaline going that night. So,
And I apologize for that because we'd been all day down here at the symposium, and I take green tea pills for work, and it gives you a burst of energy.
oh boy.
And it also kind of makes me a little emotional, you know, so here I just had this frightening encounter, and I come back a little bit emotional.
It was more in shock. Than I
Well,
would say.
yeah, you were more in shock.
It was definitely it definitely was a real close call, and seeing them manhandling that calf. And of course, today when the caretaker of that property, that field up behind it, come in and said, yeah, he's missing a calf. I said, it was a black calf? He goes, yeah, it was a black calf.
Well, that nailed that evidence right there.
Yeah. Apparently he went up there in the field this morning and found that he had a calf missing. So, I mean, does that prove that the Bigfoot took that calf? Well, I mean, we didn't see him take the calf, even though I saw him carrying it.
Yeah.
You know, just the fact that that was his field that he took care of, and there was a calf missing. So I think really what happened was I come up on them as they was carrying it down the trail, which shows that Bigfoot will take the opportunity to go down the trail if they can, especially carrying a heavy load like a calf. And the third one was just basically, I think, just trying to slow me down so I didn't run into him or, you know, make him drop the calf or
Well,
whatever.
I know we were all talking about scenarios, and somebody was talking about this, and I said, well, if it really wanted to hurt you, it could clothesline you.
Yeah.
It could have just snatched you right off there.
And that was one of the things on my mind as I was coming back to the listening post team was, man, I hope you don't reach out and just, you know, nail me with the clothesline, you know.
Yeah.
We did the weekend before, had the news crew out there, and we had all traveled in caravan down through there, and we got down to the settlement and decided that me and Izzy was going to lead first and then drop off and sit there with the thermal. Well, the Bigfoot didn't come down the trail. We spotted 4 of them coming down in the creek bed around us, and they would have cut me and Izzy off crossing the creek. So I went ahead and went around that way. So what was on my mind was from that last weekend, you know, they just surprised the crap out of me. You know, are they going to circle around and try to cut me off before I get out? Because at the moment I didn't think of, you know, they were just trying to stop me or spook me or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I think they're trying to get me. So, but
Well, we had, you know, we took a night hike after this incident, and we went on, I mean, almost up to where you have to cross to get up that hill to get on the other side. And we had movement over there, and then I seen for a second on up the creek that was one that was sitting here like doing this.
yeah.
But then I didn't know that some of them come back and did rock claps. Well, my first deal is after your incident, hearing noise here, and then the rock claps, I'm thinking, okay guys, we need to back off. Because, you know, you don't know if they were still stirred up, but we wanted to see what their reactions was. But I kept telling them, I said, hey, if he circled back around here, we would have no way to get out. It's the same deal.
So,
Do you think that he grabbed it like this?
Or did his hand so big that
I know
he just
it was
grabbed the
hard.
whole thing?
yeah, all I saw was the shoulder, but when I got back, we had,
It
can't
looked
remember
like
if it was Rebelistic or Ron Bowe standing up here, and I kind of leaned forward and looked over my shoulder, and it was a good 3 foot taller than they were. So, you know,
Well, it
Had
could
Randy
have
stand there last night.
Well, it makes you wonder if that was the alpha male of the group,
Well,
following them and protecting the
pretty much we know the alpha for the troop in the area
Yeah.
is the big white one.
Okay.
But, you know, this could be the sub-alpha for a sub-troop, you know.
Yeah.
Because we do know that the main troop breaks up into smaller troops.
Yeah.
But other than that, when y'all come in and told me that the weld was broke, that made my butt cheeks pucker up again. So, and outside of that, it is really something to think about. But now we just got to get back in there and see if we can find where they're
Oh, yeah.
hunkered down at.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm going to show the gap in the middle. You can see this gap right here. Looks factory. And then we scoot over here and look at this gap here. And
That's
it's
just a lot of force.
a lot of force to pull it apart.
Even
And then the weld,
the gap down here.
the gap down here, and the weld being broke on it also. And you were moving what, about 10 miles an hour?
Yeah, I almost went right over the handlebars. So, and I was moving way too fast that night for safety's sake, but I didn't want the listening post team sitting there waiting 45 minutes for me to come back out of the valley. You know, so,
We were trying to stir them up too.
yeah, but that's about it.
Okay, thank you for watching.